I've just recently met. But before I do that, I want to say that I've never given $1 million check to someone. This is a new experience in my life, and it's great to be able to do that. But I want to say that there are now millions of Washingtonians who can do even better than giving a $1 million check, and that is because there's about 4 million people who've got the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. And all of those people are available to give something even better than $1 million, which is a life. Because every single person that has got the vaccine potentially is saving the life of someone who's their loved one, their family members, or coworkers, to prevent dread disease. So I hope that people feel good about the fact they are giving a great gift to other people in their family and where they work and where they go to school. It's even better than $1 million. So, but today I get to award a $1 million check to Cameron, who's here today with his partner and his parents. They're here today because they are state's $1 million lottery winner, because he made a decision to get the vaccine, and we're thanking him today for that. He's doing a public service, which is to inspire others to follow his leadership and save other lives. He's getting a $1 million check, but he's done something for the state of Washington himself, which is to get this vaccine and save other people's lives. He's a fellow in his early 20s. He's a motorcycle mechanic. He thought getting a vaccine was the right thing to do. We know it saves lives, and so we want to thank him for that. And his story inspires me. He's going to share a few stories with you and maybe take a question or two. He lives in South King County, and this is a great place to have a winner because the South King County region has a lower vaccination rate than other places in King County, as much as maybe just half over other areas in King County. So if this inspires more people in South King County to get the vaccine, we're particularly hopeful that it has that result. So Cameron, if your friends or neighbors are watching this, I hope they follow your leadership in this regard. We have other winners, of course. We've had 4 $250,000 winners of this lottery. Dylan T. from Yakima, Lance R. from Whatcom County, nursing student Marissa P. from the Spokane area, and Stephen T. from Walla Walla. They're just some of the 70% of Washingtonians who've given the gift of life to other people in their communities. It's gratifying that we're involved in this area, in this effort. We do believe that this has resulted in more people being vaccinated than would have otherwise. It slowed down the decline we were experiencing in the vaccination rate, so we're gratified about that. We think there are actually tens of thousands of people probably involved in this effort. So with this, I'm going to step over here, and if I have a large Sharpie, here it is right here. Cameron, you're going to like this Sharpie here, I think. I'm going to sign this $1 million check right here with the governor's signature. And I'm going to present it to a great Washingtonian who's helping. Cameron, thanks for inspiring other people.
Thank you.
Okay, how about a round of applause for a good guy? I think he deserves it. All right, Cameron, the rostrum is yours if you'd like to make some comments.
The biggest thing I want to explain is all my life, I always try to do what I want to do and what makes me happy. I never worried about the money, actually, and I always worried about what made me more happy. And I always go with my gut, and one of the things that's crazy about is I didn't even know about this whole thing until I got the call, and I didn't even really believe it, but at the time being before this, to take the vaccine, I went with my gut. I want to be safe with everybody around me. I want my family safe and my peers. And thank you so much.
All right, Cameron, do you want to, if you guys have any couple of easy questions, you might want to ask him what advice you got. Cameron, why don't you tell him how you heard about this and what advice you got about this? I think that's worth hearing.
So I didn't get the actual first call. It was my mom. The reason why that happened is because I did something to my phone where I couldn't get any calls that I don't know or I think it's a scam, I won't see it. So they got in contact with my mother and pretty much pushed forward and tried to get a hold of me. And it was at a point where they were like, hey, like, this is not a scam. You can check the Washington lottery and go through and contact everybody and see if this is a real thing. And my mom's like, she told me about it. I thought it was a scam. And my mom did her thing and called me back. She's like, I think it's real. Like, you should call back. And so I was like, okay, I called and everything. And they were telling me about the whole $1 million winner. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I was processing it, but not knowing what was going on. And I didn't think I was the winner. I thought I was just a winner. But because I asked them, like, hey, what was the other things they're giving away? And they're like, oh, the $250K. And then also they were giving out Xbox, PlayStation, and everything. And I was just like, okay, but why is mine so different? And then they're like, no, you're the winner. I was like, oh, okay. And that's when everything kind of stopped still. I was like, wow, I have to process this.
What's your advice to people who aren't vaccinated? You've been vaccinated, you made that choice. What's your advice to people who aren't vaccinated and a concern that we may have to do, perhaps what Los Angeles is doing and going back and putting masks on?
That one, I don't know how to answer. That one's a pretty big question for me.
What's your advice to people?
Just, I don't want to tell people what they have to do. I just want them to do what they feel is right. Like, that's how I felt. I felt like it was right for me to go get vaccinated, and that was my gut. I did it, like, near the very beginning with the public. So it wasn't like I knew about this and got vaccinated. Like, I knew about it when I got the call. So I didn't even know this was a thing. So that's why I'm a little amazed, but I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. But I do encourage it because you want to protect people around you and others. And that's my biggest thing is, like, I think it's more respectful and just keeping people safe and not putting anybody in harm.
What are you going to do with money?
Home, and then I'm just investing. Right now, I'm pretty much just trying to find a financial advisor. That's my biggest thing is this is a great start, and I'm not quitting my job. I'm staying because I got to keep bringing that income coming in.
He's going to take his partner out to dinner. That's one of the things, one condition of this. Stephen, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From Seattle Times?
Yeah, another question?
Yeah, we have a question from Seattle Times reporter Amanda.
Oh, hi, sorry. This is actually for a different issue.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
good luck. Yeah, good luck. Marcus, can you make a comment here before we leave here?
Well, we are certainly grateful for Cameron's mother that she answered the phone and didn't think it was a scam. But first, I'm honored to be here with Governor Inslee and with Cameron. So congratulations on this big win. It has been a pleasure to meet this 23-year-old mechanic who certainly has a great head on his shoulder. We all at Washington's Lottery could not be more happy for you. So once again, we are looking forward to seeing what happens with you. When we launched this promotion, we did so virtually behind our computer screens. And today, we're here together, which is a testament to our state's vaccination rates. When Governor Inslee asked us to administer the shot of a lifetime, along with the Department of Health, we were happy to use our expertise to help raise awareness for the COVID-19 vaccine. This promotion has been life-changing, certainly for Cameron and our other winners, but also for many Washingtonians who were motivated to receive the vaccine. In addition to the governor and his team, I would like to acknowledge the great partnership with Dr. Shaw and his team at the Department of Health and our team members at Washington's Lottery, all across the state that worked so hard and so quickly to help administer this program. We are happy to have been able to play a small part in our state's pandemic recovery, and I thank you, Governor, for your willingness and for your leadership and for your vision in allowing the lottery to be a part of reaching your goal and the state's goal of 70% and getting Washington healthy again. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Marcus.
Cameron, may we ask the partners, and we didn't get a proper introduction.
This is Bree, my girlfriend, and we've been together for 2 years.
Almost
2,
3
yeah.
years, yeah.
Okay, Bree, you gotta tell us, will the money change it?
No. When we met, I actually was paying for like the first dates and stuff, so now it's like, oh yeah, fun fact. So no, it's exciting. We've been through a lot and worked hard and made it here now, so it's very exciting and we're thankful. Thankful to be vaccinated and have a great outcome.
Thanks, Bree. Okay, guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank
work,
you.
Mark. Thanks for the question. Okay, good luck. Hey, oh, wait, Mark, don't forget,
Oh, yeah.
take it with you.
I know, I think it'll catch your
I guess we should all listen to our mothers. This is certainly good advice. Okay. On to other subjects. Our border with our great friends to the north, Canada, we have been gratified that we have heard from the Prime Minister that there is a good possibility of opening the border in mid-August to folks who are vaccinated, to Americans to be able to go north. This is good news. We understand it's not an assurance at the moment. We understood Canada say if their conditions continue to improve that the border could reopen to vaccinated Americans. This is great news for all of us in Washington, obviously including those in Point Roberts. But we are going to remain very diligent. I'll be sending a letter today about this subject for a couple reasons. One, we want to make sure this happens. And second, it's very important for us to allow Canadians who are vaccinated to come to the United States as well. It's very important to them. It's very important to us in our economy. It's certainly at Point Roberts. It's very important to the economy of Point Roberts to keep a grocery store open there to have Canadian customers. And obviously for everybody in Washington to have access to the goods and services and the relationships from Canada. So this is good news that this window of opportunity is opening, but we will be very diligent in continuing to press the case that we are ready to reopen this border. And the reason is we have very similar vaccination rates right now between British Columbia and Washington State. We should trust each other at this moment to get these borders open. And by allowing vaccinated people, at least at the beginning, this could be a good step. So we will continue to advocate for this as strongly as we can so that this border is no longer a barrier to good relationships, commercial and otherwise, across our two countries and provinces and states. We obviously want to get our fans to Vancouver to see the victory of the Kraken over the other franchise in Vancouver that I won't mention as well. We have a couple other emergency proclamations in response to our fires that I've issued yesterday. One proclamation amends our burn ban to suspend statutory truck driver hour limitations. We're doing this to make sure that truck drivers can fulfill the fuel distribution needs of our firefighters, and we appreciate their hard work. This will also allow our National Guard to assist firefighters as well. And we want to thank the people who are doing such hard work against these fires. Our firefighters, our members of the Guard, they're being so stressed by the frequency of these fires. In fact, our firefighters across the country now are experiencing this. These are becoming permanent fire seasons. And we want to thank them and their families who are working so hard right now to reduce this fire threat. I've also issued an emergency proclamation declaring an emergency in 19 counties where the heat damaged our infrastructure, including our roads, which will allow bidding to move forward to be able to do emergency repairs and the like. So again, I hope people are trying to preserve their own personal safety, and let's all give a hearty thanks to all our emergency personnel who are working on these fires. With that, happy to stand for questions.
Yes, I have one question. With this giveaway now going on, there's still some counties in Washington that have vaccination rate around 30%. Here in Pierce County, particularly, the rate of administered doses has been somewhat on a decline. So now that this giveaway is ended, is there any other plan from the state to get people vaccinated? Is there some sort of plan that might go beyond incentives or gift giving or things like that?
You bet. We intend to be very diligent every single day to increase these vaccination rates. This is absolutely imperative. As you point out, the differential, we have some vaccination deserts in our state that are very, very troublesome to us. We have some places where we've had great success. San Juan County at 81.2%, King County at 78.2%, Jefferson County at 73.9%. But then you look down at Garfield County at 30%, less than half of these other counties. Stevens County, 31.2%, Ferry County, 41%. So we have this two Washingtonians here. And right now, these vaccine deserts are very much at risk. If you are not vaccinated right now, you got a target on your back. And these counties have a target on their back with these low vaccination rates. Because what we have seen is that places with these low vaccination rates can experience a huge surge. These vaccination rates of these endangered counties are similar to what they were in Missouri, where it blew up in Missouri, where there weren't enough ventilators for people. We do not want to see that happen in the state of Washington. So we have to maintain a very aggressive approach, and we're going to remain looking for new ideas. Here's one. We are embracing the medical community and encouraging them and enabling them and paying them to be able to provide scientific information to their patients. This morning I was on a conference call with about 600 medical providers. We have a program called POP, Power to Providers, to enable them to give medical information to their patients. You know, it's terrible that our citizens have been victimized by an assault of misinformation on them. And this has been a concerted effort to deceive them. And this is life-threatening, this deceptive information. So we need to get real medical information to people to dispel that information. And I'm pleased that the medical providers are signing up with this POP program to actually be proactive, to reach out to their patients and certainly talk to them when they come into the office about getting this vaccine. We're also changing our distribution system so that we provide the vaccine in smaller increments to medical clinics so they can have a smaller amount commensurate with the size of their patient load to make that easier. And we're going to look for every other mechanism to share this information. We don't have current plans for another financial incentive. We do believe that the program we had for this lottery did have a beneficial impact because it slowed down the decline. These numbers were declining precipitously, and the evaluation of the department showed that that decline slowed down. So we did end up with more people who got the vaccine than would have otherwise. So we do think it was helpful. But at this moment, we think the most important thing is to get valid medical information so people are not deceived into being endangered.
Governor, with cases turning back up again, is there any consideration on your part to do what Los Angeles is now doing and reimposing a mask mandate?
Not at the moment. That is not under active consideration at the moment. But I will tell you, the folks that live in these vaccine deserts, they have the right to protect themselves, and the best way is to get their friends and neighbors vaccinated. We can all be leaders here, not just governors or presidents. Everybody can be a leader in this, including talking to your relatives, your neighbors, your coworkers about the benefits of vaccination, which are profound. So we're hopeful people can exercise leadership to get the people they love vaccinated. We hope that'll happen.
Since you know which counties are falling behind the vaccination, why not target those particular counties with a mask mandate or other restrictions to slow the spread in those particular counties?
So we are watching this on a daily basis to look at the impact. And at the moment, the acceleration has not been significant enough in our book to warrant that. We are using the tool of vaccinations. We believe that is the ultimate tool that we need to focus on. We believe that the best use of our resources, of our communication, is to get people more vaccinated. That's the real answer to this thing. We don't want to be wearing masks for the next 32 years. We want to get more people vaccinated, which knocks out this COVID virus. It just stops it dead. And so we are putting our resources into the vaccination effort. We think that's the ultimate answer to this pandemic.
Governor, talk about reopening the border with Canada is another sign of the state's recovery. Restrictions have been eased or lifted. What do you need to see to lift the state of emergency? When will the state of emergency be lifted in your mind?
When we think there's no longer an emergency. And to answer that question, we look at all of the dozens of metrics to make that decision. Clearly, we are not out of the woods. Clearly, we still need to maintain efforts to get more vaccinations to people. Clearly, we still have issues of masking, particularly in our school system. Clearly, we still need to make a testing regime available, including in some schools that we're working on. So there are multiple things that our state needs right now that can be provided through an emergency declaration. This is not the moment. We got to run through this tape here. My dad's an old track coach. He said, you always got to run through the tape. We're not at the finish line of this by any stretch of the imagination. And we do have to recognize that the conditions do exist, that if we don't get these vaccination rates up, we could face the explosion of this because of this Delta variant. I know you've heard about this multiple times. It is way, way more transmittable and possibly more dangerous. And so we have to keep our attention focused on that vaccination effort.
Governor, Wednesday you talked about this being the summer of climate change and warned about the dire consequences of that. And then yesterday, Black Hawk helicopters were circling the Capitol or buzzing the Capitol for rides for teachers and educators. How do you justify sort of non-essential carbon-intensive flights like that by your National Guard at the same time you're warning just the day before about the dire straits we're in?
I really don't know what you're referring to, so I can't really respond to it. But look, I'm sorry?
You didn't hear the helicopters yesterday?
I didn't hear helicopters yesterday. I was in Moses Lake celebrating an incredible achievement in the clean energy field. I went to Moses Lake yesterday and met with a company that has a potential world-beating technology to increase battery capacity through the use of silicon. They have an amazingly effective way to stabilize silicon and increase the anode capacity of batteries. It could be just incredibly important in the ability to get batteries much more effective in the same space of your battery in your car. So that was really, really exciting to me. And if we get that done, it'll certainly justify having a helicopter fly around the Capitol if that's what happened. Look, we have to go through a major transition to a clean energy economy that is not based on fossil fuels. We are not shutting down tomorrow all the use of fossil fuels, the answer to your question. There are 10,000 ways we're using fossil fuels today that make sense. And if we can get an educator more excited about whatever we were excited about it, that's fine with me. But we have to be embracing this transition like we saw the people who were involved in this in Moses Lake. We have to do those things, and we are doing those things. I looked at another job-creating opportunity that's incredibly exciting to me yesterday, and we've got to focus on those efforts.
But just briefly, by way of follow-up, the transition to a clean energy economy is going to take a long time. It is within the power of the state government and perhaps individuals to reduce their carbon footprint. And our carbon, we have very aggressive, well, some would say not aggressive enough, but we have aggressive targets for reducing carbon emissions in the state. But frankly, we're a growing state with growing carbon emissions. What kind of behavior change needs to happen at a state government level and at an individual level while we're making this transition?
Well, you point out an important point. There are what I think of as macro efforts that are important, including developing an electric car industry, which we're doing, that I wrote about 10 years ago and believed was going to happen, and is happening today. There is enormous research and development in new technologies, some of which I saw in Moses Lake yesterday. There are enormous investments that I'm very happy about, that it looks like the U.S. Congress could be making large investments to have a clean electrical standard that will follow Washington State's leadership in getting a clean electrical grid. There are those macro things that are necessary. But yes, we as individuals do play some part in this. If you drive a car, driving an electric car is a very, very safe, convenient, reasonably priced at this point, and the prices are coming down, way to do something. Doing something to not waste so much energy in your home and caulk around your windows. Those things can help. So yes, there are things we can do as individuals, either as an individual or a president, as a governor, or as a media person to talk about climate change. I tried to make the point that all the things we were talking about from a kind of apocalyptic reporting that you're all reporting are all related to one thing, and that's climate change. You all can do something about this as well to make sure people understand that. So all of us have some role to play. Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda with Seattle Times.
Hi there. I have a question about the vaccine lottery and its impact on vaccinations. It appears that lotteries across the country have seen mixed success. Can you say more about what the impact the lottery has been here in Washington and how those numbers were determined?
Yes, I can. Look, it's, you can't come up with a precise down to the sixth digit what impact it had, because you have to make certain assumptions of what would have happened without the lottery. But from the review the Department of Health has done, what I think is the most likely thing we can say about it is that we were suffering a precipitous decline for some period of time in the rate of vaccination, and the line was going down very, very sharply. After we initiated the lottery, that precipitous decline was reduced as its angle of attack. If you watch the Tour de France, there's a percentage of the angle of attack. So the rate of decline was reduced. So you ended up getting more people vaccinated than otherwise. I think it's a fair statement that that's a likelihood. So I think this exercise was useful. I believe it was useful, if nothing else, as it kept us in the public eye talking about vaccinations. We had more conversations about vaccinations than we would have if we hadn't had this lottery program. $1 million keeps this on people's tongues. So I do believe it was a worthwhile endeavor. And I hope others will, again, feel the joy of saving lives here. I gave away $1 million, but people can do what I did today, which is to save somebody's life. I hope people will do that by getting vaccinated.
Governor,
With that, yeah.
on the heat declaration or the proclamation, the counties will submit, can you explain how it'll work? The counties will submit damage estimates to the state, and then will they be reimbursed by the state, or is this something you have to file with the federal government? How does this?
Well, the heat declaration, there's a variety of pools. I won't go into the specifics. I'll try to get you the specific channels. There are a variety of channels for relief. They each have their own criteria. I'll try to get somebody from the Department of Emergency Services to get you more details about this. But the most important thing is this allows immediate restoration of services. It allows to waive some contracting rules so we can get to this right away, which is very important, obviously. With that, be well, go Kraken.